Good morning, this is Ron Brown. It's the 9th of August already, and it's 20 minutes until 12 Central Time as I'm doing this. And in this video, I'm going to continue the series Order Flow and Context. And this is about combining order flow and chart analysis with HGS Investor software. And today, I'm doing video number 17 in the playlist. It's using contextual trends. Now, to do this, you're going to have my files. You're going to have to be a member of the Insider Club. But even if you're not, you can watch it and see what I'm doing and try to set it up yourself if you use the software. If you don't use the software, you should, because this technique, I believe, is unique only to HGS Investor software. As always, remember the market is your teacher, and we're finding out that out this week. Okay, any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. If you want to try the software, just go to highgrowthstock.com and you'll see a link where you can download the software and try it free for 30 days without entering your credit card. And you'll get the complete database and so on, and it also gives you entrance into the Insider Club for 30 days, and then you can decide if you want to keep the software and continue with the Insider Club or not. Anyway, I'm going to move ahead now and show you what I've been working on. Now, for those of you who are in the Insider Club, if you update the add-on, you're going to find the files set up just like this. Now, I've added this folder here. I've had it for several weeks in other parts of the program, but I'm putting it in my favorite daily prospecting scans, end of day and intraday, and you'll also find it in the essential warehouse views at number 6. But I'm going to be using these here, and then if you look at the user smart groups, you're going to find contextual trends down and contextual trends up, and I will be explaining what these do. But this is really a flexible way to find potential candidates that meet certain contextual criteria. For example, I've got a chart set up here, and I'll be using this chart. It's in my black charts. There's also a white version of it, white background version. But this is my primary contextual chart. In other words, I can see the relationship of price to the moving averages. And those moving averages represent different stages of trends in securities, either stocks, ETF, market indexes, whatever. And I'm going to point out that on this chart, of course, this has the industry group, which is green. I'm sorry, cyan, and green is the relative strength of the stock to its industry group. But when we get down here, and this is just a stock that I pulled up, it has absolutely no significance, except it was at the top of the list when I clicked on this. But you can see the moving averages in here, the relationship of the yesterday's closing price to the moving averages, the volume, the intraday volume today, and so on. Now, these histograms down here represent expansion and contraction. This is a micro trend, 3 and 6 day exponential moving averages. If the 3 is above the 6, the histogram will have a green bar. If it's below, red bar. This is a short-term trend, 6 and 18 day exponential moving averages. If the 6 is above the 18, you're going to have a green bar. If it's below, you're going to have a red bar. The 18 versus the 50, this is what I consider the intermediate term trend. Once again, if the 18 is above the 50, you'll have a green bar. If it's below, you'll have a red bar. And then the other context that I consider is the relationship of all of these moving averages to one another. And if they're stacked, that is a very strong stock. And let me just go in here and see if I can okay, that was a strong stock. It has a high RS. Let me look here. Okay, Red Cat Holdings. This is a cheap stock, but that really doesn't matter. I'm going to bring up an arrow here. Here's the 200, here's the 100, here's the 50, and here's the 18. And if these are all stacked, you can see they're all above the moving averages. That means the fan is up. These have to be stacked in that order. Just reverse it for a down fan. So the strongest stocks in the database will have the fan going up because the moving averages are going to be stacked. And this all figures into the context. Now if you look over here, you'll see there's a folder with this, but let's move over to the designer. And if you, or when you download the designer stocks today, you're going to find these folders: contextual, trends down and up. And you can see here's the intermediate, here's the intermediate with a fan down. These are down, micro trend down, short-term trend down. And then just below that I have micro trend up, short-term trend up, intermediate trend up, and then intermediate with the fan. So I can immediately tell what the context of these stocks or ETFs is just by looking at, by screening with these user smart groups. And I can also use the context scans themselves to go to any user group. So it works both ways. I don't know if I'll get into both of them today or if I'll save one of them for next week. It depends on how long this video goes. Now there are several ways that this can be used, and I'm going to be working with these over here in the designer first, and I'm going to go to my favorite daily prospecting scans, and I'm going to go to my money flow in, and I'm just going to click on number 1A, which is money flow in demand. And you can see that there are 10,023 securities which are showing money flow in at this moment. In other words, their range is above 50% of the daily range, and the price is positive. Now it's kind of a flat day on Wall Street today. It's Friday. It's been a very active week, but let's say that I'm interested in going to the long side because I'm in the intraday money flow in. And first of all, I want to look at a micro trend up stock, and by clicking on this user smart group and then clicking through to the warehouse, it isolates these stocks which have a micro trend up. And remember, a micro trend up means the 3 is above the 6. So let's just take a look at this. I'm going to go to the top stock based upon the raw combo and my demand was sorted by my demand combo, and you can see that control just a second here. Okay, this just popped up today. Until today, this was a micro trend up stock. 3 above the 6. You can see that for 3 days ago it turned positive, and now it has turned into a short-term trend up because the 3 is above the 6 and also the 6 is above the 18. But for the past 3 days, this stock would have passed the micro trend up filter because it crossed over right here, and these other contextual filters were negative. So this sold off hard. There was a test and then a confirmation of this test. And let me bring up the crosshair here. The VPOC went positive that day. And I don't believe, well, it was right on the line. So the 3 crossed over the 6 really the next day here. And then yesterday it didn't do much, but today it's moving up. But looking at the other context of this, I'll get the crosshair off and bring the arrow in. You can see the 3 moving above the 6 right here, and the 6 moving above the 18 today. It's kind of hard to see. That's why I put these histograms in, so you can see it. But it's made a really nice move after this test and then the confirmation of the test. Now what about the rest of the context? If you look over here, you can see the EMA fan is neither up nor down because we have the 200, the 100, the 50 is the blue, but the 18 was below the 50, so the fan was not up. And also, or I mean, these are all required for the fan to be up. It's close. I mean, this is a bullish stock until this sell-off here, and now it's going again, and it's showing up today as a money flow in stock with a micro trend up. Bring up my arrow again, and you can see that this column, these are all positive, and this is the force index. I'm sorry, not the force index, the volume point of control. But this is the column right here that tells us that this stock is positive on the micro trend up. Now I'm going to go down here to the short-term trend up. This is from last night. So as of last night, the short-term trend was up on all of these. I just clicked through to the warehouse view. You can see in this column right here, everything's positive. But if I bring these stocks up, you can see that, bring my arrow back up here, that the 3-6 has been positive since down here, since this big move up, and the short-term trend, the 6 and the 18, also has been positive. That's why it is passing this short-term trend up user group. Now this is an inexpensive stock, but look at that big move. Okay, let's take a look at another one. How about this? Well, here's Meta. Let's look at CME Group. CME Group. Once again, the 3-6 are positive and the 6-18 are positive, so this falls into the category of the short-term trend up. Now, the micro trend, you can find stocks that are just beginning to move, or they've pulled back and they're moving again. The short-term trend means they've been stronger for a little bit longer. Now the fan is down on this. You can see the information over here, and the criteria for a down fan is here. Here's the 200, the 100, the 50, and the 18, and they're all stacked to the downside. Okay, let's go back up to Meta and look at it. All right, Meta is moving up again today after a sell-off this week. It had a low volume test, and you can see the 3 is above the 6 and the 6 is above the 18, but this is not crossed yet. So the intermediate term trend is not up. Is the fan up or down? No, neither one. It's just mixed. Now remember, these are all from last night, the end of the day. But that's fine, because what it does, my thinking behind this is it segregates these stocks according to their trends. Now let's take a look at their intermediate term trend up. In other words, all three of these are going to, well, let's go to the intermediate trend without the fan up. So I'm going to skip through to these, sorted on wall combo. That's a $2 stock. Let's find something that's a little more expensive. Upstart Holdings. Now, when this stock comes up, all of these histograms should be positive. You can see that it crossed the 3 crosses 6 2 days ago, zeros across over day. So it must be a pullback on this stock. Let's take a look here. It's an ugly chart, but it gap clear down here. Earnings must have come out, and you can see the 3. Bring the arrow back up. 3.6 positive, 6.18 positive, and the 18 versus the 50 positive also. This is really, like I said, an ugly chart. The fan is neither up nor down. You can see the heavy volume here with the blue bars, the pocket pivots, the volume pocket pivots, as this stock has taken off. And this had to be an earnings play. So where did this show up? Well, it showed up 3 days ago with the 3 crossing the 6 on heavy volume. Also, it crossed over the 6 and the 18, and it was already positive on the 18 versus the 15. Contextually, though, this didn't look great here with this fan, but when this gapped up on earnings, it just kept going. Pretty volatile intraday charts, though. I meant intraday candles, not intraday charts. Okay, now I'm going to do the last one on the intermediate trend up with a fan up. These are going to be the strongest stocks, and all of these are going to be positive over here in the chart, plus the fan is going to be up. So let's just transfer these to the intermediate trend up, and here, and notice how the relative strength is much higher on these. So if I bring this stock up, it's another inexpensive stock, but the criteria are all met. The 3 is above the 6, and it has been for quite some time. Here's the 6 and the 18, and the 50 versus the 18. Look where this crossed over on the VPOC, and on the 3, and on the 6 versus the 18. And you can see that the fan is in place in the correct order, and the 3 is above the 6. So the buy point back here, or right here, this has moved up almost 200% from this level. So in summary, the different user smart groups over here, you know what they mean now. Micro trend, the 3 is above the 6, short-term trend. The 3 is above the 6, and the 6 is above the 18, intermediate trend. Both of these plus the 18 above the 50. And then with the fan up, that's the final requirement for context. So it's easy if you just primarily are interested in strong stocks that are going. You can look at this list here if you're looking for stocks that are possibly just beginning their move up. Look at the micros, and I'm going to show you another thing that works quite well too, and that is to go to the contextual trends down. And let's look at stocks that are passing the micro trend down, but their money flow is positive today. Let's see if any come up. So there are 99 of these from last night, and I click on these, and you can see that these stocks were the micro trend down, so the 3 is below the 6, but they're up today. Now this I'm finding, if you look at this column here, you can see that the 3 is below the 6 on all of these. But what I'm finding is this is often a good place to look for stocks that have pulled back on the prior day, or prior several days, and are starting to run up again. So let's just take a look. I don't know this stock, but oh yes, I do. I don't know anything about it, but I know that NVIDIA has made a purchase in this, and this is why it took off. But you can see that the 3 was below the 6 yesterday. If you look closely here, you can see that red dot. But these the other moving averages were in the bullish position. So a pullback, potential buy point. Let's look at another stock. Assurant, more expensive stock, ugly, choppy chart. I wouldn't touch it, but that's not the point. You can see that it had pulled back on these 4 days here, and today it's moving up. This reflects what is happening today, and the scan reflects what the stock closed at last night. So let's look at one more. Let's look at Carvana. Okay, so looking at this down here, you can see the histogram was negative because the 3 was below the 6, and now it's moving up. So we have a strong chart here. We know this is strong because, first of all, the fan is up. You can see the fan's up. This is a pullback day. The 6 was above the 18, and the 18 was above the 50. Negative epoch, but positive today intraday. So this is a lower risk entry point because the stock is moving up after a slight pullback. Okay, let's do one more here. How about Checkpoint Software? Familiar name. You can see that this column, it's down. 4 days ago it crossed down the 3 below the 6, but the 6 and 18 remained positive, and also the 18 versus the 50. This is the first day that's popping back up above the 3, but this was an opportunity to find a stock with a pullback which is going up today. I think this is probably a very powerful way to scan on these every day. You've got the groups made for you already. Just come in here and look at the intraday money flow. Or let's close this and let's look at the most active. And you can, if you're interested in the most active large cap stocks, here's 2 right here, which are up slightly today after they pulled back. Let's look at the mid-cap stocks. Just a couple there. Let's see. This is microtrend down. Let's take a look at this. Okay, you can see the pullback here, the microtrend down, but these remained positive and it's moving up here. So this is a way to find stocks with lower risk entries on them. Now I'm going to go back to the money flow, and I'm going to go to intraday money flow out. So here's intraday money flow out. This scan is right here, and that's number 2A that I'm using, and these are stocks that as of last night in the micro trend down, we're headed down. You can see they're in this column. The 3 is below the 6, and these are following through today. If I bring this up, you can see that that's an inexpensive stock. Let's find one that's a little more valuable here. EverQuote. You can see that the money was flowing out yesterday, or the micro trend was down. By the micro trend being down, the 3 was below the 6. As the 6 had not gone below the 18 at that point, but it did today. So this one is having a change of character from the upside to the downside, and it began back here, it looks like, and then it bounced back up, and now it's going back down again. So I'm still in the intraday money flow out, and I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go down, or I'm over here to the left on, I'm going to go to the intermediate trend up with the fan up, and I'm going to transfer this. And then I just applied the filter. It was not applied. And these are stocks which are positive. The 3 is above the 6, and the VPOCs are all positive, but they're down for today. So this is a way you can possibly find some shorts that are just beginning. So I'm going to bring this up. You can see that the fan is up on this. These are all stacked properly, but this stock got overheated and it's pulling back now. It's down 10.76% today, and the red just went below, or the histogram turned red today. Now this got so extended it took a while to cross. Let's see if I can find one that is just crossing, and this, it's down today. You can see that it's positive on the 3 and the 6 down here. Has been for 4 days, but with the intraday scan on, intraday money flow out, you can see that it's run into resistance and it's pulling back today. So this is an example of trying to catch stocks near the top that may be pulling back, or if they're not pulling back too sharply, they could go into a watch list and maybe look for a follow-through move in a day or two. Let's look at applied therapeutics. You can see the fan is up, 3 is above the 6, but it's pulling back today. Now I'm going to try the intermediate term trend up and transfer these, and then apply the filter, and you can see that these are stocks. The fan was not up, but the histograms are all up here, but it is coming down sharply. See if I can find one with this is a familiar stock. Big move up, reversal 4 days ago. Found a test, but it isn't holding, and now it's going down, and you can see that the histograms were all up until today. So I hope you can see that these contextual scans place stocks in different categories based upon the context related to the moving averages. And this is something I've been working on. I think it's really a powerful way to look at stocks and prospect and maybe catch stocks as they're just starting to move one way or the other, or the trends are continuing. Now, I'm not going to get into the scanning today using the intraday or the scans for the context. It'll make the video too long. I'll do that next week. But if you have my files, play with this week. If you have any questions about it, just let me know. But I think this is going, or will provide opportunities daily to find stocks that meet the criteria and get us into stocks at an opportune time, or find stocks that are continuing their move in a direction either up or down. Stocks or ETFs, or indexes for that matter. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back. I'll continue this next week.